articles which are carried out in various newspapers on the topic. All those things. So I want to just bring it out at the first instance before going into about a few important things which you need to know before you try to go and read this particular provisions which have come out under the schemes. The first and foremost thing is the difference between what the arms are. Because prior to Finance Minister giving this package to MSME sector, there were some packages which were announced by Reserve Bank of India also. So we need to know what is the difference between these two. Because many of them schemes, when we go and ask banks are coming out with their own details and they're asking for a lot of inputs. And what is the scheme is all about when RBI, most of the MSMEs expressed these views in front of me. And to make it simple, let me tell you, what is the difference between when RBI announces a scheme and when central government announces a scheme? That is the first thing which we need to understand. See, RBI is a regulatory authority. Okay. So, voice is not clear. Can you hear me now?
Your voice is clear, sir, but the video is cracking. No problem. You can continue with the
video is cracking.
Yes, no problem.
Even voice is cracking.
Voice is also cracking, huh?
Yes, it says that Kaushik network bandwidth is low.
So you can switch off your video and go ahead with the audio, sir.
So can I switch off my video now? Okay, fine.
Yeah, please continue.
Okay. Yeah, fine. So what I would like to say here is the policies which are announced by Reserve Bank of India as a regulator is something different from what the government is announcing. Because when we talk about the regulator's role, especially in terms of monetary policy, they are focusing only on the policy aspects, wherein their main focus area will be to control money supply in the economy and to bring down the inflation or manage the inflation at a level what it has been agreed upon. That is the only role of what RBI plays with the banks. See, RBI cannot give directions to bank, or RBI cannot give instructions to bank as to how the policy should be designed or how the scheme should be designed and what is the rate at which they are supposed to lend, or what are the documentation process that they should collect from the customers. See, these things RBI cannot frame the policies. So the approach of RBI, especially in terms of controlling the credit and pushing the liquidity into the system, is the foremost objective under which the RBI works. And as most of you know, RBI even does not listen to the central government because it's an autonomous body, even though the RBI governor is appointed by Government of India. When it comes to the policy matter, RBI performs its role as an independent authority and it takes only suggestions from government. It does not act on the directions of the government. So RBI doesn't do that. So whatever the monetary policy comes out from the RBI directions, right, it is purely of the RBI itself. So there is less scope for government to intervene or interfere in the operational aspects or the policy matters of RBI. Please remember this point very much, because many of them complained that there was a scheme which was announced and which RBI told it in point 2.0. That announcement what they made in 2.0, that is somewhere in the month of April 14th or something like that, they made some announcement. In that it was told that MSME should be given loan, 10% of the loan should be given on their working capital thing and all those things it was told. But when you go and see the websites of various banks, right, the scheme is operational. It is already there. The schemes are already there. But only thing is the 10% credit, additional credit facility, what these banks have told, right, it comes with some conditions. So it may be, there may be different interest rates which they are charging for the particular loan. or the documentation thing what they're asking for is something different, which is not earlier called for. They're asking even for CIBIL score. They're asking for even the financials, and they're asking for your credit rating over a period of time. And even they're asking for a lot of other documentary things to prove your credit worthiness for the past 12 months. See, as I told you, please remember, whenever the RBI has given the schemes, especially in the form of either reduction in the repo rates, or in bringing down the CRR, or in bringing down the SLRs, or issuing new guidelines in the form of LTRO schemes and all those things, the main objective under which the RBI is giving direction is as a regulator to pump money into the liquidity of banks. So but it is not telling what are the schemes and how the scheme should be designed. And these schemes will be purely designed based on the banks. So bank will decide the schemes, they will design the schemes, they will put their own conditions, terms and conditions, and accordingly, the customers have been informed by banks to follow that in order to qualify for that particular finance or funding. So this is what the RBI does. So it's a regulator. It can basically give directions to bank, but it will not give direction to banks' policies. So banks, within their board, they will decide what should be the policy and how the rate should be and what are the norms which it should lend to. So that is the criteria under which the banks operated. Because of that, many schemes which was told for liquidity schemes, right, that could not happen as far as concerned when customers expected something, but that was not something which they got in return. So please remember that point here. That is very important. The second thing what I want to talk about is about the government role. See, government is not performing the role of regulator here. So whatever the schemes the government has announced, bank should follow it. So please remember that is the first thing. Many people are having still concern. So this was same thing was announced in RBI also, but something came out later, which was not what we expected out. So even this is also something like that itself, what the central government has given, that whatever the finance minister has told, even these schemes are also the same thing. But please make a point that whatever finance minister has announced, it should be followed in toto. So only thing is, as of now, still the schemes are not operational. I heard many of our customers going to bank and asking for the scheme details and all those things. If you go and ask now, even these banks are also not aware of how the schemes will perform, because the banks have been served with the draft of these particular schemes, whatever was read out by Madam 5 days back. These draft of these particular things has been given to bank, and banks are still working on that, and they need to come back with their views and suggestions, if any, to the finance ministry, and then only finance ministry finally notifies the scheme. So as of today, whatever we are discussing, these are still in draft mode. This has not been in operational as of now. Please remember this point again. And one more point, very important thing is, whatever has been announced by the government, it is 100% sure that it should be implemented by the banks. It's not like what RBI had announced and what these bank implemented. Whatever the scheme has been discussed in the public media by the finance minister, the same provisions of the scheme will be applicable by the banks. Only thing is the modalities of how it should be done will be something what the banks will be going back to the finance ministry, and they will be putting their concerns. So that means 100% whatever has been told by finance minister will be implemented by banks. That is one point, please bear it in mind. It's not like what RBI announcement has come. The first thing what I want to discuss is about the turnover limits. That is the new definition of MSME which has come into place. So I think most of you have gone through this definition and most of you are already aware of what is this definition all about. So is there any confusion in the definition, or is there something what you want to ask me in this particular definition? Do you want any clarification on the new definition which has come out,
Yes. Yes.
or
Please,
can I proceed?
Sir, I think
Yeah.
you can explain one by one all the 3 points. Micro, small, and medium. You can once again explain, sir.
Okay. See, the main thing what has come in this definition is, first and foremost thing, now there is no bifurcation as to manufacturing and services are concerned. So both come under one category now. So they have included both manufacturing and services while categorizing the threshold limits. So what is the threshold limit? The first threshold limit was they have given to micro industries are investments. Again, investment means investment in plant and machinery. Okay, so that they have not made it specific here, but it is investment in plant and machinery less than 1 crore, turnover less than 5 crore. That is 5 times of your investment in plant and machinery should be your turnover. So if you qualify under that, then you will be categorized as micro. In case of small, if your investment is less than 10 crores or equal to 10 crores, the 5 times of the 10 crores is again 50 crores. That should be your turnover. So if your turnover is coming somewhere between 5 crores and 50 crores, and if your investment is more than 1 crore and less than or equal to 10 crores, then you will be categorized as small industries. Then medium, if your investment is less than 20 crores and turnover is less than 100 crores. That is, if your investment is more than 10 crores and less than or equal to 20 crores, and 5 times of the 20 crores is nothing but 100 crores. So that is the turnover limit what they have fixed. So this will be categorized as medium. So earlier we had definitions based on investment in plant and equipments, and that was different for services and manufacturing. But now manufacturing and services are combined together in same threshold limits. One thing which is asked by many of them are whether traders are covered in this particular definition. If you want to see, there is a condition in this particular criteria where they have put not or, it is and. Investment and turnover they are told. Since they are mentioning investment and turnover, since trader doesn't invest anything in plant and machinery, traders will not be coming under the definition of this particular MSME categorization, because they have clearly told it is and. That means both the conditions are there. So traders will not come under this definition of MSME. So you can be happily concentrate on this, because many of them had views. Yesterday when I was talking to Lakshmish, he was telling that there will be more schemes which will be coming out, but traders may also be getting benefited by these schemes and all those things which have been coming to MSME. So I went into the details of the definitions, whatever was told by the ministry, but it is clearly mentioned that it is investment and turnover is concerned. So both put together are concerned. We need to read the definition in toto, not eliminating one part and taking the other part into consideration. So investment and turnover, both are the criteria. So if that is the criteria, then definitely traders doesn't have any investment in plant and machineries. So definitely they will not come under and fit in this definition of manufacturing and services. So that is the whole idea about this new definition. So if you have any questions, you can ask me at the end. Okay. So let us move on to the schemes now. The first important scheme is about that 3 lakh crore emergency working capital. I'll go by word because there are a lot of things which has come out in the draft and which was not clarified at the time of finance minister reading out this particular 3 lakh crore emergency working capital facility for business. So I'll go by word and let me make you understand how the things work. Okay, the first and foremost thing is this will be additional working capital apart from what is existing within your books as of now. So what is the criteria for giving this? The criteria is the outstanding balance as on 29th February 2020. So whatever the outstanding loans were there, I am repeating, please remember, whatever the outstanding credit was there, okay, on that outstanding. So this outstanding means not only working capital loan which are outstanding, this includes even the term loans which are outstanding or any other loan which you have taken for your industry purpose which are outstanding. That is clearly from the draft it has been told that it's all outstanding which is used for business they are talking about. Even some people have asked for GST input tax settlement cases and all those things were there for which they have borrowed from many banks. There are schemes under many banks which have given for their even GST input credit settlement and all those things. Even that money also qualifies for this 20% outstanding case. So whatever the money is outstanding for your business loans as of 29th February 2020, they are the people who will be qualified under this rupees 3 lakh crore emergency working capital fund. So those who have not taken any loans or those who don't have any outstanding loans, or very important point, those who are already in NPAs or those who have been already qualified under stressed asset, they will not qualify under this particular scheme, because they have put one more point in this draft where they have told it includes only borrowers with up to 60 days past due credits outstanding. That means before February, if you are not paid 2 months installment, that is 60 days of your installments were due at the time of February, then you will qualify. If it is more than 60 days, then you will be categorized under stressed asset. So if you come under stressed asset and NPAs, then this particular provision is not applicable. So these things, clarifications were required, and this has been given under the draft. Again, I am repeating, this is only draft. This has been circulated to banks now. Banks are now going through these proposals. And if there is any suggestions or views which comes out from the banking side, right? So ministry may change some of the clauses here also. So we need to wait and see that. But as of now, I think most of the banks are okay with the procedures, whatever been told by the ministry. Only thing is, we need to see how the route of the schemes will be launched from date. So which is the date from which the schemes gets activated? That's the thing which we need to wait for the notification from the bank side. So please remember these two things. Those who are already in NPAs, that is those who are in the stressed case, that is more than 60 days before February, if there are outstanding dues which have not been settled, or if you are already into NPA, that is 90 days, if you have not settled anything prior to February 2029, then you will not qualify under this scheme. This is only for those cases where the borrowers who have borrowed which are due for less than 60 days at the time of February 29 February 2020. So please remember these 2 points. The next important point is, it is available, the credit is available up to only 25 crores outstanding or the turnover of 100 crores. So please remember these 2 points also. That means assistance under this scheme will be maximum up to 25 crores and to only those companies or those MSME units whose turnover doesn't cross below whose turnover doesn't cross above 100 crores. That is only those who are below 100 crores, they are eligible for this. And to how much amount they are eligible? Only towards 25 crores, up to 25 crores. So how do you calculate this up to 25 crores? It is 20% of your outstanding amount. So whatever the amount is outstanding on the date, whatever the amount is outstanding, on that they will calculate 20%. If that 20% is more than 25 crores, then if it is less than 25 crores, let us say 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs or 1 crore or something it comes to, then you will be eligible for even that amount also. But it should not cross 25 crores. And one more cap is that it should not cross more, the turnover should, for such companies, should not be more than 100 crores. So please bear these two caps which are there in this particular provision. One is it should not cross your borrowing thing, whatever you are borrowing from this, right? It should not cross more than 25 crores. That is 20% of your outstanding should be within 25 crores or equal to 25 crores. And your turnover, who are applying for such type of loans, right? It should not be more than 100 crores. So turnover, they are talking about previous financial year turnover. Okay, not the projected turnover up to March. Please remember this point also. Okay, it's not projected turnover they're asking. It's the previous financial year turnover they're asking. That is one point. There is one catch here. If you read the definitions properly and if you get into the details of the scheme properly, right? There is one small catch what they have put. They are told accounts are standard accounts, they are told. What do you mean by standard accounts? Accounts standard means it should not be a stressed assets. So your company should not be running under stressed assets. Okay, that is what it means. So stressed standard is what they are referring to here. So that is a very important point. That's what I told you. If the outstanding is less than 60 days, then you qualify for the scheme. If the outstanding dues of already over months of outstanding, right, is more than 60 days, then you will not qualify for the scheme. Because of the word they have used, accounts are standard. That's what the term they have used. And one more thing is, very important thing is, there is no need to provide any guarantee or collateral of their own. So this is purely something which the government is giving through banks, for which they don't ask for any collateral securities. So guarantees or collateral is not required under the scheme. So it's something which is just like working capital loan, which is just putting into your bank account, where they are not asking for you to prove any guarantees or to bring any collateral securities for these things. The next important thing is very, very, very important. The amount will be 100% guaranteed by the government of India. So this is where the difference lies between what RBI has announced and what government has announced. So RBI never committed for anything. If anything happens, it's left to bank to recover from customers. But here, government is intervening between the MSME and the banks now. So what the government has told, in case if this is not repaid within 4 years, and whatever the amount is outstanding after the 4th year, that loss will be borne by the central government 100%. What is this 100%? The entire amount, there is nothing called as will take only, will fund for only 75% or 65% like that. There is no condition like that. So whatever the amount is due at the end of 4th year, so if that loan is not settled by the borrowers, government will take the responsibility to clear off the loan to the banks. So this is one of the big welcome move which has come up in crisis situation like this, where government has committed for supporting the MSME sectors to fullest extent possible. So this is one of the important thing, 100% guaranteed by the government. The next important thing is, as many of you know, that there will be some guaranteed fees Okay, so when you go to the CGTSME, all these schemes, right, there will be something called as guaranteed fees and all those things. So no such annual guaranteed scheme is applicable in this case. So there will be no extra fees which will be collected from you. Okay, so there is no extra fees which the banks will collect from you in this case. Coming back to the tenure of the loan tenure will be for 4 years from the date you avail the loan. And one important point what they have made it here is first 12 months the principal will be given as moratorium. So there is no need for you to pay the principal for first 12 months. But in the second months onwards, you need to pay the first year principal and also the second year principal also. Okay. So that is an option they have given to you. Not that everyone should use it. If you are in a position to clear off the principal, you can clear off the principal along with interest every month, right from the day you avail the loan. That means no need for you to avail the moratorium period if you are comfortable with your cash flows. So if you have a very good cash flows in your business, then better you don't go for moratorium, you clear off the principal as well as the interest. If you think that there is no sufficient cash flows which are generated over next 5 to 6 months, then you can use the moratorium period. Only thing is in the second year, it becomes a burden for you to pay two principals. That is second year principal plus the first year principal. Every month you should keep on paying. So it becomes a burden on your shoulder along with interest you need to pay. So moratorium exists only for principal. That means every month interest is to be paid. That is mandatory. That is very important point. Please remember that point also. The next very important point is coming back to the interest rates. What is the interest rate under which this particular borrowing should take place? As per the draft which is being circulated to banks, the government has told interest should not be more than 9.5% per annum. This is what the banks have been told. Why I am telling? See, here Reserve Bank only told lending rate should be so much. But it is prerogative powers of the banks to vary the rates also. It is not that whatever the RBI says, bank will follow. No, that will not happen in that case. But here, in this particular scheme, what has happened? The banks have been told by the government that interest will be capped. That is the word what they've used. Interest is capped in this particular scheme. What do you mean by capping of interest? Capping of interest means they are putting a upper limit for the interest beyond which the banks are not supposed to charge. So in this particular draft, it is mentioned that the interest should not be more than 9.5% per annum. So the bank should charge either 9.5% or they can charge even less than 9.5% also. So definitely the banks will be, in order to compete, they will be charging 9.5% or less than 9.5% also. But since there is a cap, bank cannot charge even 9.51% also. It cannot exceed the limit what has been suggested by the government. This is the beauty of how the government schemes drill down to banks. So they are the prerogative authority. Government, if it says you should do it, banks should do it. So unlike RBI, if it tells do it, banks will not do it. Okay, this is our experience, and we have seen in many cases how RBI instructions have not been followed by banks. So that is the situation what we have faced in the last 2-3 months, and many MSME entrepreneurs are facing this issue, saying that when we go to bank, they ask for credit rating or they ask for financial, they ask for GST returns, all those things. See, that is because it's a liquidity scheme which has been announced by Reserve Bank of India. So they cannot monitor the lending process of how the bank should perform. That is where the major differences lies between what government has announced and what RBI announcements were. So here government has clearly told charge beyond 9.5%. Now any bank, if it wants to charge more than this, then that bank will face severe action from the government. They cannot do it. So that is one thing which you need to know. I am telling only about draft. Okay, don't go and ask still in banks whether it is interest rate is 9.5 because it's still in draft. Unless and until the notification comes from the bank, this is what I am reading from the draft report which I have done an analysis on. So 9.5% if they have told, then the entire scheme will be within 9.5% only. So they can either lend it at 9.5% or they can change it to 8%, 8.2%, depending upon how they want to maintain relationship with the customers. So it's bank directions which comes from the board of directors, and accordingly they will fix the interest rate and they will decide upon that. We need to wait for that. One more important thing I just forgot to tell, what is bank here? So many people might be got confused here, or they may be having some doubts in their mind. Sir, what if we have borrowed from NBFCs like Bajaj Finance? So are these people also covered under this particular scheme? The answer is yes. So when they are telling banks, they have included even non-banking financial institutions also. So if you have borrowed any loans from banks and non-banking financial institutions, then you will be covered on this 3 lakh crore scheme. But interest rate under the draft report for NBFC is at 14%. Okay, so for banks, they have told it is 9.5%. For NBFCs, they have told the cap interest rate is 14%. So this is again subject to the decision by each and every NBFCs. So if there is an NBFC which wants more good customers to their side, or they want the existing customers who are there in their side to give better benefits for them in this COVID, post-COVID, and they want good business from them, then they can reduce it to 12.5% also or 13% also. So it depends upon the banks how they want to structure their interest schemes. So in any case, it should not cross more than 14%. So NBFCs cannot charge interest rate more than 14% on this particular scheme. That is a very important point. So this scheme is available till 31st of October 2020. This is what Madam has told in her presentation. So if there is a lot of demand, it may also be extended. We don't know. Okay. So as of now, we are just looking at what the scheme outcome is. So as per the present scheme outcome, so scheme is applicable only up to 31st of October 2020. So this is the entire thing which is there in the scheme. So how to approach a bank? See, very simple. No need for you to go to new banks here. Okay, this scheme is not applicable for people who wants to go to new bank and find out. You need to get this scheme under where your loans are already there. Okay, that is the point. So wherever you have taken a loan, they have the details of how much is the loan outstanding or whether you come under NPA or stress category or whatever it is. So you need to approach your banker wherever the loan exists for you. Approach that bank and take the appropriate calculations. They will do it because they have all data about you. So they know what is outstanding on at the end of February 20th, and immediately they will tell you this is the amount what you are eligible for. So try to take that time. You can use it for your immediate working capital purpose. Please remember, don't buy machineries and all from this particular loan. This is a short-term funding for your working capital requirements. So don't invest this money in machineries or something fixed assets or something like that. This is purely to help you out to set right your business, like payment of outstanding salaries, wages, or some daily expenses to meet all the daily requirement, payment of your rent to your factory premises, all those things. Please don't divert this money for acquiring some machinery, plant, equipments and all. Because once you are exhausted with this, you will not be eligible for further extension of working capital. Because as of now, since if you qualify under this particular thing and working capital is given to you, again you cannot ask for working capital enhancement immediately. So please bear these things in mind. So this is something which is given for you to meet for next 3 to 4 or 5 months of your continuance in business. Okay, so please make use of these funds only for the purpose what they have told. Don't divert these funds for any other purpose like investment in share markets or investment in government machineries, equipment. Don't buy those things out from this particular money. This is about the first important financial funding scheme. The second important funding scheme is about 50,000 crore fund of fund. See, I just want to take you back to the startup fund of fund, which was created by government last year. Okay, there was a startup fund of fund which was created by the government, and seeing the response of that particular scheme, government is now trying to introduce the same to the MSME also. This is not a new scheme which has come into place. This particular scheme was already existing for startups. There was a fund of fund scheme for startups. The beauty of that scheme was the government deposited a fund of around 3,500 crores initially under the startup fund, but startups were able to realize almost around 16,000 crores from various market participants like private equities, venture capitalists, investments activities, insurance funds. See, a lot of people were there who got interested with investment in startups, and they started pumping money into the system. And that's how startup industries could realize around 20,000 crores within a span of very short time. So seeing the success of the startup, government is now trying to introduce the similar type of fund for MSMEs also. So what is this fund of fund? See, still the scheme outlines have not been given in public domain as of today. So probably they will be giving this details about the scheme in the coming 2 days. That's what the input I got from. So what is this and how does it work? I'll just tell you in brief so that you should be aware of how the things happens in fund of funds. So this is something where the government will be approving 15% equity in MSME. That means government will be now investing in MSME sector. So this is something which is a new concept for most of the MSMEs, because all these days only you people used to invest. In some cases there are venture funding, angel funding and all those things. Private equities are also there in listed MSMEs. I will not call it as MSMEs, it's only SMEs, because as of today only SMEs exchanges are there, but not micro. Okay, so what I would like to say is, all these days we used to find investors who used to invest in this type of MSMEs which were already listed in markets. But today there is an opportunity for most of you who can also be participative in stock exchanges. So you can also list your company in stock exchanges. There is a separate platform under BSE and NSE for you people to participate in exchanges. Okay, so I'll come back to that in a little while from now. So I'll just tell you about how this fund works. So now government will invest up to 15% in equities of MSME which have high credit rating, and that will be listed in stock exchanges and will raise money from capital markets. So this is the new scheme under which the government is trying to move the MSMEs into the next level. That is, why don't you go and participate in capital markets? why don't you get yourself listed in markets and try to raise IPOs, okay, and try to increase your investment activities by going into market instead of pumping your own funds or borrowing from your relatives, all those things. Why don't you professionally move into a business category where you can also be participative in listing process and try to list your shares and get traded in the exchange also. So that will create a lot of value for you. So a lot of brand, all those things will enhance once you enter into the market. So that's the intention of the government in the long run. They want to make all the very good potential growth MSME sectors to get into the market, where they are expecting huge inflow of investment from various investors, not only from India, from across the globe also. So this is the right time, especially those companies which have very good growth, or those companies which have very good potentiality of expansion in size and capacity. They can think of now moving towards listing either in BSE or in NSE or in both the cases. So this is an opportunity for you. So in order to do this, there is an infuse of 50,000 crore equity in MSMEs to more than 25 lakh MSME government is thinking. So how did this 25 lakh data has come? Because I think they are having some data with them. They have done a lot of jargons on this data. So they might have done a lot of analysis also on this data. So after seeing all those things, I think they might have come to the conclusion that there are some 25 lakh MSMEs in India, which is suitable for expansion in size and capacity, or which can be pushed into the potential growth sectors in the coming years. So based on that data analytics, what they have carried out, they are now telling 25 lakh such MSMEs are there. So for them, they are pushing 50,000 crore fund of fund into the business, into the market stream, and government will be contributing in this 10,000 crores out of 50,000 crores. Government will contribute 10,000 crores directly into the investments. The balance 40,000 crores will be raised through external parties. So who are these external parties? External parties are people like private equity, venture funders or venture capitalists, or insurance sectors, PF investors, LIC, like this. Lot of people are there who are interested in investments. And I think they are the people who will be pushing this money into the system now. So fund will be operated through mother fund and few daughters fund. So what is these categories of mother fund and daughter fund and how it works? Still that clarification needs to be issued. We are awaiting for that. I think in the next 2 days, they will be issuing the clarity on this particular thing, because we know how the mother fund and few fund daughters fund work in principle. Okay, but how they have designed it for applying that same concept in MSME equity, right? That we need to understand. For that, still we need to wait for the clarity about these two factors. That is, what is this mother fund, how it gets, how much is poured into the mother fund and how much will be done through daughter fund, and what are the modalities under which the daughter funds operates. All these things we need to wait for another 2 days to get clarity on the same. But this fund, please remember, will be given only for those MSMEs which have potential to grow, which can expand in size and capacity. We have seen a lot of MSMEs where they are doing very good business, but still they are not listed in markets. So the listing criteria and all, I will not get into detail because that is not the topic what we are studying today. So the maximum criteria, the only criteria which I will tell you is, if your post capital after listing is less than 25 crores, you can get listed under SME brackets. So the criteria for listing is your post capital after listing should be less than 25 crores. then only you will be listed under SME category. There is no micro here. It's only small and medium enterprises. So you will be listed under SME category. So today, BSE, that is Bombay Stock Exchange, and Nifty, that is NSE, National Stock Exchange, they have a separate segment of SME trading. They have a separate index of BSE SME index and NSE SME index, which are getting traded very good. I was watching the performance of these shares in the last couple of months. So they are showing a very good results. So I think it's a time for you people also, okay, in order to grow and diversify your business with expansion mode and all, better you also start placing your share or get your shares listed in the market as soon as possible. So listing criteria and all are there. BSE listing criteria are there. NSE listing criteria are there. You can touch with any consultant for that and you can do it. That is one thing. So as of today, I was telling you, as of today, around 521 SME sectors have been listed in both BSE and NSE. And till now, they have raised around 6,500 crores from the market. This is the beauty and this is the magnanimity at which the SMEs are working in share market. Coming back to the next scheme, which is on subordinate thing. Many people are not aware of this. What is this subordinate debt and all? See, subordinate debts are just unsecured loans which are to be repaid after all the debts have been paid. So very interesting thing. Okay, so very important thing. Why I'm telling very important? Because this
I'm not getting audio.
can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir. Please
Yeah,
go
now we
ahead.
can hear.
Yeah, some disconnect happened in between. So, okay, fine. So this, what is the scheme is all about? Subordinate debt scheme is, see, for the first time, even the defaulters are eligible for loan now. That is something which was not there in the banking history as of now. Either they used to rely upon your credit scores or they used to look your NPA status and all before you go for additional loan or before you go for loan with other banks. But here is a scheme where the existing borrowers, that means existing people who are already in NPA. So what is NPA? If you don't pay your principal and interest continuously for 90 days and more, that is 3 months and more, then your accounts will be classified as NPAs. And what is stressed? What is stressed companies? Stressed companies are those beyond 60 days. So if you don't pay your dues beyond 60 days, then there is chances that the bank may categorize you under stressed company. That is one thing. Second important thing, what you need to know about stressed case is, if you have gone for any negotiation with the bank, especially in terms of revision of your outstanding amount or revision of your interest rates or revision of any terms and conditions which are applicable on your existing loan, even that will be considered as stressed company. That means initially you have taken a loan, you are not able to pay that loan. So their bank has given you some other different criteria and conditions to be fulfilled by you now. So accordingly, you need to go for that. So that means they are categorizing you as a stressed company. That is one thing. The third important thing which you need to know about when your company becomes a stressed, in your balance sheet, if there are some negative items which are appearing, excluding the loan amount, whatever has been given to you, the negatives can become a stressed for you, and that will be taken as a stressed category company by the banks. So here, there is no particular standard definition for stressed companies are concerned with. These are the main criteria under which the company will be categorized as stressed companies. So when you are talking about this particular scheme, this scheme is applicable for those accounts which have already gone into NPAs and those who have been already categorized as stressed. That's why those companies which are categorized under these two categories, they will not qualify for your 3 lakh crore loan, what we discussed earlier. Because there I told you clearly, if your overdues are there only for less than 60 days, you will qualify for 3 lakhs. 3 lakh crore, that whatever the provision was, that 20% of your outstanding amount, those scheme, right? So there you will qualify only if it is less than 60 days. What happened if it is more than 60 days overdue? Then you need to come under this category, that is subordinate debt. This is what the government has assured for those categorized people whose outstanding are overdue for more than 60 days and whose accounts are under stressed and who are already in NPAs, non-performing asset categories. So these people now can also get cushion because government doesn't want to kill MSME. That's very clear. So they want to support MSME to the maximum extent because the future of India is relying on the performance of MSME sectors. Huge opportunities are coming. Just half an hour, 45 to 1 hour back before the session started, I saw there is a flashing news which is coming that Korean companies are moving into India and even Japanese are trying to move some of the companies to India. So already German companies have started moving into India. So they are now looking for a destination place. India is one of the attractive place for them. So now things are happening at a very faster rate. So instead of having a new setups, they want to still recharge the existing setup into the next level capacity so that they can try to garner whatever the changes which are coming in the way, and that can result in better benefits for the MSME sectors. So those points have been kept in mind to design this particular scheme. So those who are already in stressed or NPA category, now they are eligible for this type of loan. Even though it's a 20,000 crore scheme, entire 20,000 government is not supporting. If you read the proper wordings, what they've used in this particular scheme, government to facilitate 20,000 crore. That's what the word they've used. Facilitating means what? Government is helping to some extent, but it is relying on some other people to the balance amount. So what is that balance amount? Out of this 20,000 crores, 4,000 crores is through CGT MSC scheme, where banks are directly supporting the banks. Government is directly supporting the banks, and the balance 16,000 crores needs to be supported by the banks themselves. So banks need to take up this 16,000 crores on their head, but 4,000 crore is what only the government will be supporting out of 20,000 crores. So how the scheme works? Scheme works based on the contribution made to the promoters. So this is applicable irrespective of whether you are a sole proprietor, partnership firm, companies or any other forms of organization. They have not told what type of people will be eligible for this. That means this is something which is applicable for all sole proprietor, partnership firms, LLPs, companies, all those people who are into business, for them it is applicable. So what is the criteria? The criteria is very important here. They are not looking at company's performance or company's balance sheet here. They are only worried about what is the investment or what is the existing stake of the particular persons who are there in the business. Okay, so the fund is directly given to the promoters. Please remember, not promoter, promoters. That means if you have 3 partners, all the 3 partners are eligible for the scheme. So if you are a sole proprietor, only you are eligible for the scheme. Okay, so whatever is the amount which is there in the form of stake, that is, what is that you are controlling that company with, what is the capital you have invested in that company, on that capital 15% will be given as subordinate debt. So there is a very important thing here which you need to understand. One point is government is providing only, supporting only to the extent of 4,000 crores. That means only 20% government is supporting out of 20 lakhs, 20,000 crores. 4,000 crores is what government supporting, that is 20%. Remaining 80% should be borne by the banks themselves. So here there may be some problem because banks may not be willing to take so much risk. So again, I'm repeating, there may be chances that bank may say that they are not willing to take so much risk because they were only worried about 4,000 crores because government supports to full extent up to 4,000 crores. But 16, since these accounts are already in NPAs, okay, these already are in stressed case. So again, knowing there is a depth, okay, there is a deep thing in front of you, don't put both the legs into that. But here government is forcing. So we need to put that. So Q&A. So you want Q&A now. So I'll complete this. Okay. I'll complete another 2-3 points are there. I'll complete that. So this is a very important point. What they're telling is 15% of existing stake, whatever the promoters are having in the company, to that extent, they will fund you. But there is a cap on this also. What is that cap? The funding will not be beyond 75 lakhs. Okay, it cannot cross more than 75 lakh. So that is one catch is there. So any investment support in the form of subordinate debts will not be beyond 75 lakhs. So it is 15% of the total stake, existing stake in that particular company, and the loan will be given to the promoters, and promoters will in turn invest in the business. So promoters will be putting money into the equities. Okay, they will be investing in the equities, and tomorrow if the loan needs to be settled, first priority of settlement will be for all the outside creditors, and finally the settlement will be done to the subordinate debtors. That means bank will be given the last priority to be settled in case of anything happens with this business. So this is a catch. So banks may not be willing to go for 16,000 crores here. So we need to see how this scheme works, but government has told. So once government has told it, bank needs to follow that guidelines. Okay. So there are a lot of questions. I'll run through this. Fund of fund is done. Okay. Yeah. And the last point which I want to touch upon, I think you people know about this EPF and all those things. If you have any questions on that, you can ask me. But I will touch upon only one small area, that is about the tenders. Okay. So no global tender for government tenders up to 200 crores. This is one thing which the announcement has been made, which benefits the MSME to the larger extent. So up to 200 crores, it is domestic tender only. So no foreign tenders. No, these tenders will not be invited, or they will not invite or participate. Allow participation of global companies or global investors into this 200 crores turnover, up to 200 crores. So this is one big move where MSME can get a lot of business. So having said so, there are a lot of things to complete, but I think because of the time, I'll not be able to complete all those things. So now
Yes,
I'm willing to
I-
take the questions. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Before I open the Q&A, there are a few questions already in the chat box, sir.
Yeah, please.
There are two people have asked the same question. Can you talk about the advantage and disadvantage of the present and the earlier definition of MSME? Briefly. A lot of questions are there. You can switch off your video, sir. It is showing as low bandwidth.
Yeah. Okay. Sir, what is the question?
Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, what is the question? Question, please.
What is the advantage and disadvantage of the present and the earlier definition of MSME?
See, present definition, it's putting both services and manufacturing together. Okay, earlier we had a bifurcation or a distinction, and it was based only on investment in plant and machineries, but it did not consider the turnover aspects. So now when you want to go for SME listings, right, I think turnover is the main criteria there, which will be looked after as one of the listing criteria. So now because of financing this, even many companies can get listed under SME category under markets now. So that is one advantage of going for that. And the second one is schemes also now it can be wider. Instead of that, earlier we had a very small, because most of the companies were doing big business, but they were restricted with themselves with investment and all. So there were no investments which were coming in the way, because they used to lose either small scale sector also they would not qualify, or medium scale industries also they never used to qualify. So now increasing the turnover up to 100 crores and 20 crores investment, right? I think that's a great move. And also there is a lot of technologies which are coming now, and putting the money of what the earlier definition of investment in equipment, that is nowhere required as of today. So that is nothing today. If a small shop, if you go and see the shop floor, right, they will have more than 10 crores, 15 crores investment in the plant and machineries. So earlier they used to be excluded as MSME, even though they were operating at a very small scale in case of turnovers were concerned. So I think those are the factors which they have considered, and that's why they have put investment as well as turnover into consideration, so that this can be widely driven to many industries which were not earlier using that facilities.
Aditya has a question, sir. Can unpaid GST be considered for outstanding?
No. Unpaid GST is not considered. It cannot be considered.
And Mr. D.R. Subramaniam has a question. Can we add non-fund based limit also for 25 crores?
Sir, here they have not given the clarification about that, because normally when we talk about working capital, we will be talked about fund-based working capital only. We will not include non-fund-based working capitals. Okay. So whenever the terminology working capital we are using in stricter terms in terms of funding, right, we always use it as fund-based working capital only. So I don't think that word of that will be not applicable here. That is not fund-based like bank guarantees or letter of credits. Those things will not be considered for this purpose.
So the question from Prabhas, you have already actually answered that, but still for emphasizing it, I went to the bank today morning and they have not yet got any directive from MSME scheme that was announced by FM. Do you have any idea when the banks will start implementing the MSME scheme? You've already
That's what
answered.
I told you, right? Yeah, I told you the draft has already been circulated 2 days back. Okay. I think bank will be coming up with the suggestion views and all those things in couple of days. So once that suggestions, all those are done and received by the ministry, ministry will clearly issue the guidelines to the banks. And finally, banks will issue the notification. Probably from 1st of June, this will be implemented.
Ashwin has a question, sir. In my bank, they are giving only 10% excess of CC limit. How to make them to increase it to 20%?
No, that is a different case altogether. I think what madam, right? Okay,
No,
she's
Ashwin, sir.
here, Ashwin. Okay, what Ashwin is referring to is the 10% what was given under the RBI 2.0. That is what I think he is referred to, and that is what banks are funding as of now. Okay, so that is a different scheme altogether. That's what I told. Once you avail this, you cannot avail one more scheme now.
Okay. Dr. Sundaramurthy has a question. So we want to buy a spectrometer costing around 20 lakhs. Which scheme is better among the various schemes?
So asset, right? They want to buy the asset.
Yes, sir.
See, as of now, whatever the scheme they have given, right, they are only to see that next 3 months, 4 months, how you run the business. So the term loan, if you are going for a new term loan, then you need to go through a normal approach only. These are schemes for working capital and to come out, make sure that you come out of the crisis, whatever you are facing because of COVID. So either to pay the rent or pay the salaries or pay the day-to-day expenses, do the overhauling of machines to make it in good condition, workable in condition, all those things. So if you want to go for any new purchase of machinery, you need to go it through your existing scheme only. Term loan scheme and all is there, right? Either a CGT, SME or something like that. So you can go for that scheme itself. So these schemes doesn't cover all those things. This is only for already people who have taken the loan, who are not able to clear the loan or who are facing distress in order to clear up the loan and all those things. So that existing, whatever the scheme already is there for purchase, going for term loan acquisition and all, right, for acquiring the asset and all, you can use the same scheme now.
Anu Ravi has a question, sir. Let me know if cooperative bank's interest is capped at 9% or 14%.
No, cooperative banks will not come under this. Okay, they are not coming. Only bank, commercial, nationalized bank, private banks, and NBFCs are coming. Okay, cooperative banks are not part of this.
And Sandeep is asking a question, sir. Any special schemes for term loan for procuring capital equipment?
That's what I answered Sundaramurthy, right? See, this is not scheme for buying any new assets. Okay, this is scheme only for seeing that your business continues without any hiccups during this post-COVID era. So it's to see that business continues over a period of time without any hassle-free. So that is the reason for launching this particular announcements. So if you want to go for purchasing an asset, go for any term loan which normally the bank runs, SIDBI runs, and all the other banks runs the scheme of acquiring the term loans. So you can go for the same.
Mr. Prasanna is asking questions. So what is fund of funds? Please explain.
Yeah, I told you, right? I explained to you what is fund of fund. See, fund of fund is something, the concept works like this. So government deposits the money into the fund. It creates a fund and it deposits the money into the fund. Then that fund is utilized for investment in various equities. That is, in order to support the industries to grow into the next level. Just like how the government invests in PSUs and all, right, they make investments in PSU. That is nothing but fund of fund only. So this was there in startup. The same scheme they have now brought into MSME also. So initially when startups came up, right, they had only good ideas, knowledge and technology, innovation and all those things. But they were lacking with funds. So how long you will depend on venture funding and private equities and all those things for seed money, that is initial starting business. So what government did, they created a fund of fund, and through that fund of fund, they started making investment in equity, and government started participating in the startups also. So same concept now they have brought to this MSME also. Government wants to be part of startups.
Sir, any procedures for availing this?
Any procedures for availing this scheme, sir? Fund of
Okay,
fund?
so that 15% of whatever is there, that, yeah, fund of fund, that is a fund of fund.
Okay, Dr. Murthy has another question, sir. Except for
please.
10% increase in working capital, no other direct financial help seems for units which are running successfully. All schemes are for default units benefit? He's asking the questions.
No, not for default. Only the default scheme is the 20,000 crores, right? Apart from that, other schemes is for that 3 lakh crore is for all general. Those who are not in default only, that 3 lakh crores. 20% of your outstanding amount, whatever is there, right? That is for general, not for those who are in default already. So they have segmented the business, MSME business, they have viewed from different angles. So they have done justice to all the three sectors. That which is not performing well, that which needs really growth and development, that also they have categorized. And also the other category where the industries are doing well, but they don't have enough money to run the business. Even that has been taken care of. So what the ministry has done, they have identified, categorized the entire MSME units across India into different categories. So risky category, they have launched one scheme for risky categories. So second scheme, those who have potential to grow in size and capacity, they have categorized into another category and they have issued schemes for them. And finally, majority of the 45 lakh MSME sectors, which are really in need of money for starting up their existing plant. So in order to support them, they have come up with that 3 lakh crores. So they have categorized the sectors into different parameters, and accordingly they are pushing funds to all the sectors. They have done justice to all MSME sectors.
Mr. Girish has a question, sir. Any change in NPA norms post-COVID?
NPA norms, no, that again RBI should decide. So RBI should take a call on that.
There is a question from Mr. Sampada. If an unit is micro by investment, but turnover is beyond 50 crores, then what is MSME definition?
What is that? I didn't get it.
Sir, if the unit is micro unit by investment, but the turnover is beyond 50 crores, then what is the definition of MSME?
Okay, in which category it should fall? Okay, because your investment is less, definitely it will fall under turnover category only. Okay, since they have used and, right? Since they have used and, so you will get qualified under the medium category. Sorry, small category. 50 crores means small, not under micro. See, one important thing is once your turnover crosses and once you are categorized as medium, right? Next time when you change your this one, it will be considered as medium only. Even though your turnover comes down to 5 crores or 2 crores also, once you have been categorized, then again you will come back to medium only. It's not like you will be categorized under micro afterwards.
Mr. Bojraj has a question, sir. In food sector, government is ready to fund micro industries. In the FM announcement, is there any info on that, sir?
Micro?
Yes, sir. Micro industries?
No, that's what I'm telling you. They have identified the sector based on the risk categories. Okay, they have not gone into micro, medium, and small when they are designing these particular schemes. They went by which are the sectors which can potentially grow, or second category, where are the sectors where really they are doing good business, but they are unable to survive for next 3 months because of this COVID. Or the next category where already the companies are in stress category or NPA category, how to revive those companies. So that was the only criteria what they have used. So they have not used the criteria of micro, small and medium while giving the funds or while announcing the schemes.
Sorry,
not gone by that definition. Yes,
sorry,
sir.
Mr. Kaushik, this was announced on third day that on food sector, there is a new announcement. If you know, you can explain. Otherwise, you can another time we can explain that this point. They have extended up to 2 lakh industries on food sector.
Okay.
This was announced on the third day.
Okay, third day. Okay, that I am talking about the first three schemes only, sir. First five schemes.
Fine, sir. Pratibha has a question, sir. Is there any scheme for capital investment with lesser investment rates?
Lesser investment rate, that you need to speak to banks itself. See, I am telling you, if you want to invest in assets, there is no scheme which has been announced by ministry as of now. Okay, this is a regular process. So you can keep in touch with any banks. So you can meet any banks where the interest rates are less, and you can go for a term loan with that bank. Okay, it depends on bank to bank. Okay, you can negotiate with the interest rates with different banks.
Sachin Subnis has a question, sir.
Yeah.
Shouldn't a PF ESI benefit given to MSME with less than 100 employees and 90% less than 15,000 beneficiaries? Why don't they pass this facility to the entire MSME?
Entire MSME means above 100 employees he's talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, you are talking about above 100 employees.
Yes, that's it.
Above 100 employees, I think they have reduced the rate 12% to 10%, right?
Yeah, 2% subversion. But what is my next question was, what is the date for implementation of that?
That is from 15th of April. 15th of May.
Sir, I just want to know if this 20% of outstanding loan is given by all banks, including cooperative banks?
No, cooperative banks are not covered. That's what I told you, right? It's only NBFCs and commercial banks. Cooperatives are not included in the definition.
But many cooperative banks have also availed loans for SMEs, no, sir? I mean, they have given loans, no?
But they have given collateral loans, right? They don't give industry loans and all. I don't think they have given MSME loans. They will give only collateral loans, right? On your own property, they will give you loans. Have they given any funding for term loan or working capital loan as such?
Yes, they have given working capital and term loan with
But
collateral.
based on the property, right? They keep the mortgage property and they'll give, right?
No, working capital is based on our business also, no, sir?
No. Have you taken the loan from cooperative banks? Have they given like that?
Yes, I've taken loan from cooperative bank. I have 35 lakh working capital and about 55 lakhs.
So on what basis they gave that, madam? Have they taken collateral, any collateral or collateral free?
No, they have taken collateral.
That's what. See, while taking the collateral, they will take the collateral of your property and they'll give you. Okay. So in that case, if it is from cooperative banks, as of now, the clarity is not with cooperative banks. They are given only for NBFCs and commercial banks. And even private banks are also covered.
Private banks are covered.
HDFC and all ICICI Bank, those banks are also covered.
Okay.
But not cooperative banks.
We'll take another question, sir. Government will invest in SMEs if it is a 5-star rating. Who decides the ratings? Mr. Srinivasan is asking, sir.
There are rating agencies. Okay, like ICRA is there. CRISIL is there. So there are various rating agencies. They do the ratings. So they will rate as AAA, AA, BB, A+, all those categories, they are rating it. Rating agencies are there in India.
Mr. Deshpande has a question, sir. We have a OD loan. Can we avail the present scheme 20%, that is, over OD amount?
OD loan is there on what date?
It is not mentioned. Mr.
As on 19th February they are having means, yes, they are eligible. As on 19th February, if they are having any outstanding, okay, on their loan account, be it working capital or term loan, that's what I told you, OD, working capital, cash credit, whatever name you can call it as. So any outstanding amount as on 29th February, you still are eligible for the 20% of that outstanding amount.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
The floor is open. Anybody, one or two questions we can take from the floor, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ravindranath Kaushik,
Good
Srinivasan
afternoon,
here.
sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, Ivaga, when the definition of micro and small industries have changed with the plant and machinery up to 1 crore and going up to substantially up to 50 crore, lot of big companies will come into the classification of MSME.
Yes, sir.
And many of the micro and small industries will be having a lot of difficulty in participating tenders, taking the benefit of market related schemes and so many other things which were earlier meant for micro and small companies. What is your opinion on that?
Definitely, sir. Whatever you are saying is right. Definitely, there will be a competition. That's what I told you earlier, right? See, we are pushing towards more integrated system of business. So whatever we are doing next, we need to think globally. So these competitions are something which it is inherent. We cannot avoid this competition. As you told, yes, immediately there will be some challenges to existing small and micro sectors, but definitely they also should scale up. The three important yes, which is very important recovery, which I need to tell you here is, one is size, the second one is scalability, and the skill sets. These are three things which are very important in all sectors today. So size and scalability is something which we are looking at, because most of the things will be moving from different parts of the globe, because we will be becoming a different geographical world order in the coming months. So in order to cater to that, that's what the government is also trying to do with the MSMEs. They want to see that MSME takes the maximum benefit by going for more restructuring in the level of operation and in the level of technology what they were using. So it's the time for scaling up. So it's a very challenging time. I do understand that it's a very challenging time for micro and small sectors, but it is inevitable, because once the opportunity starts flooding right into the economy, we need to do it. So somewhere I read one presentation where it told that it is survival of the quickest, not the fittest, which is very important today. So how quickly we change our technology and how quickly we adopt to the changes which are coming on our way, that is which defines our next level of growth. So whatever the definition change they have done, I think they might have kept these things in mind, and accordingly they might have gone for the change in definition to include up to 100 crores turnover.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, if the time permits, I have one question to Mr. Kaushik, sir.
Please, sir,
shall I go?
Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, namaskar, Kaushik, sir. So, I just wanted to know, in your opinion, this scheme, this MSME scheme will work for micro and small units, sir, as per you?
Small unit, definitely. Micro, I don't, I also have some issues with that, okay?
Because we expected government to inter-subvention or some direct financial benefit to small and micro units. But looking at the schemes, what has been given, I think 60 to 70% of micro industry are basically not eligible for this, even 3 lakh or 20,000, whichever it is. Both the things, they'll not be eligible. So in this way, I mean, we expected some similar scheme which has been almost given to this, just like to farmers. But ಆತರ ಏನು ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಈ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ. ಸರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನೀವೇನ್ ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ?
Sir, ಅದೇ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಲ್ಲ, see, they have not gone by definition when they are thinking about the schemes. They went by sectors. Okay, so which are the sectors which are suffering loss? Which are the sectors which have potential to grow? Which are the sectors where actually money is required in order to shape them up for next 3 months? See, those are the criteria under which they have gone. They have definitely not gone with micro, small and medium classification when announcing the schemes. So that was not considered. That's I think that should have been done. That consideration should have been done. But I don't know who has advised them, but they have gone by the sectors instead of going by classification of industries.
I think one more thing, sir. what was the need to, I mean, the new classification at this juncture, sir? What was the need?
ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಕೌಶಿಕ್ ಅವರೇ.
ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
ಸರ್, ಈ MSME ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಏನಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಈಗೇನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದು ಆಗೋದು ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್. ಈಗೇನಿದ್ರು ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ, ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ MSME ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನನ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರ. As on today, the old definition only holds good. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ 20% ಏನು ಇದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ 3 lakh ಲೋನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ 3 lakh crore ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ
ಸರ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಡೆಫಿನಿಷನ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಫೆಬ್ರವರಿಲಿ ಏನೋ ಔಟ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ದೆ 3 lakh crore ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಔಟ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಖಂಡಿತ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ಗನ್ಸ್ತಿದೆ ಸರ್. ತಾವು ಹಿರಿಯರು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ತಿಳಿಸಿ.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಇದು ಒಂದೇನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ನಿನ್ನೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಓದ್ದೆ ಒಂದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಸೈಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಓದ್ದೆ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು bring an ordinance instead of calling a parliament session and passing this definition change. They want to do it through an ordinance, and that's what the news which was there on the finance ministry website. Okay, so adu so no need for again calling parliament, passing it in the both houses and getting consent from president. The cabinet can decide and directly they can go to the president and bring it through ordinance, this change. So that is one thing.
Sir, Mr. Ramani wanted to ask a question. Please go ahead, madam.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm from Kodur, Chikmagalur, sir, Ramani. ನಾನು ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಂದು 100 ಇವಾಗ 5 lakhs 10 lakhs ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಇವನ್ LUB ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನೊಂದು ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಇದರಿಂದ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಮತ್ತೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನಂದು ಏನ್ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇವಾಗ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕಂಪನಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಮ್ LUB ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ರೆ ಸಬ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ತರಂಗೆ LUB ಇಂದ ತರಂಗೆ ತಂದು ನಮ್ಮಂತವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಂಗೆ ಆ ತರ ಏನಾದ್ರು ನಮಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಪುಟ್ಟ 5 lakhs 10 lakhs ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರು ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ, ಅವರಲ್ಲೂ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಇದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಒಂದಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕಂಪನಿಯವರು, ಇವಾಗ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕಂಪನಿಯವ್ರು ಸಬ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್, ಆ ತರ ಸಬ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮಂತವ್ರಿಗೆ ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಪ್ರಮೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಬಂದು ಸರ್, ನೀವು ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಬಂದು IPO ಆಗಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಾನು ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೀನಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ IPO ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗೋದು ಹೆಂಗೆ, ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್
ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ.
ಹೌದೌದು,
ಲಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್
ಹೆಂಗ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಾನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವ ತರ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈವನ್ 2008 ಇಂದ ಇದೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಇಷ್ಟು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್. ಮೇನು ಈ ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿ ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಸಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂತವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರಕ್ಕೆ ಎಂಕರೇಜ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು LUB ಇಂದ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂತ ಇದೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಅದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂಡರ್ 5 lakhs 10 lakhs ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸುಮ್ನೆ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾವು ಮುಂದುವರಿತೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಜೋಶಿಂದ ಇದಾರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ತರ
ಫಸ್ಟ್ 2 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಇವರೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಶ್ ಅವರ ಭೋಜರಾಜ್ ಅವರ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ ಕ್ವಶನ್?
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
ಫಸ್ಟ್ 2 ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಮೂರನೇದು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ದಿವಸ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಸೆಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಅದನ್ನ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಈಗ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ ಈ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ 2 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಕಮಿಟಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು. ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ವೈಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಯಾರಿದಾರೋ ಅವ್ರು ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಒಳ್ಳೇದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, ಯಾರೇ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಚೂರು ಅದ್ರ ಕಡೆ ಗಮನ ಕೊಡಿ ಸರ್, ನಿಗಾ ಇಡಿ ಸರ್. ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆ ತರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಎಕಾನಮಿಗೂ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೂ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಂಗೆ ಅಂತ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಆ ತರ. ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಮೇಡಮ್.
ರವೀಂದ್ರ ಅವರೇ, ಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
ನೀವೇ ಇದಿರಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ನೀವೇ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅವ್ರು ಮೇಡಮ್ಗೆ.
ಸರ್
ಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ಅವರು
ಸರ್, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ 3 lakh crore ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 45 lakh units. But MSME throughout the nation more than 6 crores ಇದೆ. Okay, even 45 lakhs ಇದು ಯಾರು ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ತರ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ 6 lakhs ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಉಳಿದವರಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ವೆದರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್?
ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್, ಅದೇನ್ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ 3 lakh crore ವರೆಗೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ 3 lakh crore ಸಾಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲಾ MSME ಅವರಿಗೆ ಇರುವ ಇವಾಗಿನ.
ಸರ್ ಅದು ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್. ಇಫ್ ನೀಡ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಸ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ಮೋರ್ ದನ್ ದಟ್. ಅದೇನ್ ಇದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅವರು. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಟ್ರಾಂಚಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಯಾರ ನೋಡಿ. ವರ್ಡ್ ದೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ರಾಂಚಿ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಸ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಹಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ಪೀಸಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ. So further, if again it is required, they will pump that.
Hello. ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಾ? ಹಲೋ ಸರ್, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಾ ಸರ್ ಈ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇವಾಗ?
ಏನ್ ಮೇಡಮ್?
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದಾರಾ ಇವಾಗ ಈ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಗ?
ಹೌದೌದು.
ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇದೆ. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಕಾಣುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ?
MSME ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಡೆಡಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ. They have dedicated schemes which are already running for them.
ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ? ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಯಾವುದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ದು ಮುದ್ರಾ ಯೋಜನಾ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟೆಂಪರರಿ ಕೆಲವು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಸಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಂತೆ, ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರೋ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನಂಗೆ. I don't have any idea about that. But ಅದು ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಗಳೇನು ವಿಡ್ರಾ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಬರೀ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬಂದಿರೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ,
ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಗೋ ಹೆಡ್.
ಸರ್, ಇದು ನಮ್ಗೆ 1890 ನಾವು ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ರೀಫಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 1920 ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಮೋರ್ಟೈಸೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ 5 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇ ಮಾಡೋ ತರ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಬರೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಲಿಡೇ ಕಟ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬಾ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ನಾವ್ MSME ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಈ ತರ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ?
ಅಲ್ಲ, 1819 ರೀಫಂಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆಗಲೇ ಬಂದಿಲ್ವಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ರೀಫಂಡ್? ಅದು ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಯರ್ 1819 ತಾನೇ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು?
ಹೌದು.
ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗೋಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರಲ್ಲ. ವಿತಿನ್ 45 days ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಔಟ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗೋಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು
ನಿಮ್ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ
ಓಕೆ
ನಿಮ್ ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ದು ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೋಡಿ ನಿಮ್ದು ರೀಫಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತದು. ಅಥವಾ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇದೆಯಾ ನೋಡಿ, ಡಿಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇದೆಯಾ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕ್ವೆರಿ ಕೇಳಿದಾರಾ ಏನು ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ರೀಫಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಆಗ್ಲೇ.
ಸರ್, ಈಗ ಏನ್ 1819 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವೋ ಅದಷ್ಟು ರೀಫಂಡ್ ಆಗತ್ತಾ?
ಅಲ್ಲ, 1819 ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀರೋ ಅಥವಾ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಯರ್?
ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್.
ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ 1819 ಆಗೋಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಗೆ ಮುಗಿದೋಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಟೈಮ್. ಅದು ಫೈಲ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು, ಇದು ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಈಗ 1920 ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಇನ್ನು, ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ನವೆಂಬರ್ ವರೆಗೂ ಡೇಟ್.
ಸರ್, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಲಿಡೇ ಆತರ ಏನು ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಸ್ ಇರಲ್ವಾ?
ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಲಿಡೇ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಲಿಡೇ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ 2021ಗೆ. 1920 ಕೊಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಲಿಡೇ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಮುಗ್ದೋಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ. 31st March 2020 ಮುಗ್ದೋಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್. ನೀವಾಗ್ಲೇ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್, ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವಾಗ್ಲೇ.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ
ಅಲ್ವಾ?
One last question we can take.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
ಕೌಶಿಕ್ ಅವರೇ,
ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
ಅವರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ರೀಫಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡದಲ್ಲ ವರ್ಡ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಅವ್ರು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ರೀಫಂಡ್ ಗೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು.
ಇಲ್ಲ.
One last question can we take, sir? Is there anybody who would like to ask the last question, or I'll close it off?
Yes, there is one question. Okay, we awarded a loan of up to 6.5 lakhs, in term loan of 3 lakhs and 1.5 lakhs as a OD loan. Okay, now we are by 29th of February we are having about 3 lakh rupees as pending. So still are we eligible for this working capital loan?
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, you are eligible. 20% of 3 lakhs 60,000 ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay,
sir. Thanks a lot for the excellent and exhaustive presentation, sir. Ivattu on various schemes announced by the FM. Can I request Mr. Prasanna sir to kindly conclude the session?
Ravindranath sir, It was a wonderful talk by you on decoding of financial measures announced by Honorable Finance Minister, Government of India. You have clearly mentioned all three major announcements by Finance Minister, and you have answered the queries also. I express my heartily thanks on behalf of Navudaya Bharati to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And, on that day itself, I have spoken to you. You have agreed. You have waited for the announcement to reach you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kaushik ji.
Thank you, sir. Namaskara. Thank you.
Sir, I have one question. Can I ask? Because
Keli, sir. Keli. Please, Keli.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you mentioned like 10% and 15%, sir. The working capital will be enhanced by additional 10% towards the
20%.
COVID affected customers, right?
The voice break ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ.
I think we'll take this question offline, sir. I'll share the.
ಏನು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು.
Thank you everyone for participating in this program.
Thank you very much for the LOB also for arranging such type of interaction.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaushik also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.